Captain Kay Makhubele retired from the South African Police Service after 30 years of service, while Chief Superintendent Wayne Minnaar bid farewell to a career spanning 41 years with the JMPD. They join me now in studio. Thank you both so much for your time. When I started as a journalist, you two were the most important people and the point of call to get all our scoops, all our information, and now it's over. And Mr. Wayne, maybe I can start with you. How does it feel? 41 years, you've had to now give your uniform back.
Yes, well, very much mixed feelings. I'm happy that I've reached this age and I'm able to retire, but I'm also sad. I'm sad that I'm going to leave the environment that I've become so accustomed to and loved over so many years. I'll have to leave that behind and do something else. Well, rest most of the time, because as a spokesperson, you don't rest very much, with the phone having to be on all the time, ready for having to respond to the media and hear what's happening in the department all the time and around you, to be able to interact with the journalist has been quite a challenge, but enjoyable.
Certainly.
Nice.
And you, Captain, I'm sure you also want to rest. You seem still very young. Not that you don't, Mr. Minnaar, but you still seem very young to be retiring. But 37 years later, I'm sure you have lots of memories.
Of course. And, I feel I can still do more. But, ages tell us that we must rest. So we have to rest. But however, going out from the police service, it's sad to me because SAPS, it's my home. That is where it built me and my family, my kids. We are all the SAPS because this organization have make me what I am.
Certainly. And Mr. Minnaar, maybe we can go down memory lane. I'm sure you have tons of memories, 41 years, very good memories, but also very bad memories. Off air, I said to you, you can cry if you want to. I'm sure this is emotional. And you said a police officer never cries. You go behind the door and you cry. And I'm sure you've had some of those moments. It hasn't, of course, been easy reporting, having to tell the public what exactly has happened in certain cases that you've had to be a spokesperson about. Maybe take us down memory lane, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
Yes, I think one of the worst accident scenes was on the Soweto highway when a scholar transport vehicle was in an accident, and that day 10 children died. That was one of the worst. Then having to interact with the parents to notify them about what had happened was really difficult. But it had to be done. Officer has to do what they have to do. On a better note, I had the privilege of driving with a team of officers to Southwest Africa when it was granted independence in 1990, and when Sam Nujoma was inaugurated as the first Prime Minister of Namibia. Then we were escorting heads of state from the main airport to the Kalahari Sands, which was the main airport in Windhoek, where they were stayed. And I had the opportunity to escort the Kenyan delegation to Oshakati, which is about 700 kilometers further. And then when we returned, I was given the Driver of the Year award. So that's one of the memorable occasions. And then the highlight of my career, the pinnacle of my career, was the day when I escorted former President Nelson Mandela to his daughter's wedding, Zinzi. And then after the church service at Central Methodist, to the country club, Johannesburg Country Club in Auckland Park for photos. And that's where I had an opportunity just to share a few moments with the former great statesman. What touched me was how humble he was. And that I will always remember. Those are the highlights of my career.
I thought you would say it would be interacting with the media, but I guess not. And you, Captain, perhaps some of the, I mean, you've also dealt with some very gruesome cases and, you know, always needing to be professional and, you know, getting the facts out there. It can't be easy because at the end of the day, you're also human. But, you know, maybe tell us some of your highlights and some of your lowlights and what has been very encouraging but also difficult for you in your 37-year career.
Thanks. Well, it's many. You can't, when I can start, we won't stop listening. But I can highlight few. Most cases which made me feel that really was bad, it's when a child was found and raped and killed, dumped in a stream, and you know, later found out that the person who did that is a relative of that particular child. To me, it was very bad. And it's where I was investigating a case of a child, 3 days child, who was stolen from the hospital. We had to run around throughout the country searching for the nurse who was allegedly wearing a uniform and stealing a child. But I'm happy because that woman, she was ended up sentenced for that. And you know, the good part is when the national commissioner and the provincial commissioner, that time it was General Pierre and also General Petros, who was provincial commissioner here in Gauteng. I was crowned as Gauteng best spokesperson, and that made me to smile all the time when I think of that. But also, it was not because of myself, it was because of the interaction with the media and the interaction with the community. And the community, you know, of Gauteng, they are very much good and responsible. Because when we talk about calling the call-free number to report cases when it happened, they used to do that. And that made me to feel, you know, that indeed I'm excelling in my job, because they were phoning left and right. The calls were for the community, the calls were for my colleagues, the calls were for you guys, because you were the one who were traveling so much. And early in the morning, during the night, midnight, and you wonder, how do you know that this thing happened? Because no one from our side to find that it's not yet known that the particular scene, but you always know that. But anyway, to work with the media, really, it was wonderful. However, I believe I won't be away from you guys. I will be around doing something which I will still interact with you.
Hopefully. And Mr. Minnaar, I just maybe want us to go through 41 years is a very long time. A lot has changed from when you started back, I think it was in 1981. 81, yeah, I wasn't even thought about then. But maybe speak to us about how your career also changed and how you had to adapt to the demands of media, the demands of technology, because things started changing drastically, especially with smartphones and social media. So it was, of course, something that you had to adapt to as well, and having, as Captain says rightfully, the media calling you at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So that must have also been something that you had to adjust to and work into your career as a spokesperson for the JMPD in Gauteng.
Yes, the very first patrol car I had had a two-way radio in it, and that was the only communication you had when you were out on patrol. But later, when I was appointed spokesperson, the first cell phone I obtained looked like a brick because of its size. And later, the phones did get more advanced as we have it today, that we have a smartphone with it being able to do everything that you need to be able to communicate just from a phone. So it's been a good 41 years. I'm very happy that I did what I did. I will do it again if I have to, because it's about what I loved. From day one, the uniform, the shiny shoes, the badges, the buttons.
The hats.
And the hat, that's what attracted me, and to serve the community and to protect the vulnerable groups, which are children and the elderly. That is what drew me, and I did that all my life, because between 1996 and 2001, I was on the Scholar Patrol program, assisting the children at schools, giving them uniform every year, the new groups, the new young ones who started teaching them about what their function and roles would be, and also supporting the Scholar Patrollers at all the schools in Johannesburg. It is a time that I really enjoyed being an officer, and then later becoming spokesperson and having to interact with all the media houses.
But we all know who your favorite is, yes.
Yes, and today, I tell you, I feel very much part of the media houses, as I have been part of the JMPD.
Lovely. And you, Captain, I'm sure you also had to adjust to, the technology changes that have happened over the years. But also I want us to touch on how difficult COVID was, and the pandemic, the lockdown. That must have also been quite challenging, a new way of doing things, the regulations. That must have also been hard for you and your family, especially not really trying to be exposed to them, because, we were all unaware of what was actually going on, especially in the beginning of the hard lockdown.
Yeah, you see, the technology actually taught us new things, because we were always writing. But now you are typing, you are just scrolling. Many things is happening with the technology. And we adapted so easy, because we were always on par in terms of making sure that our job have to be easy. And indeed, we got these cell phones and no more laptop, because you used to go with a bag on your back carrying when you were supposed to write statement. But now, because of the cell phones, it became easy. During this time of the COVID, it was hard. Hard when you see your colleagues going down. Hard when you see your colleagues get sick. We were always on the forefront, because Operation Ukai Mulao never stopped, never mind the COVID. We have been going out and making sure we protect and we enforce the law, because the regulations needed to be enforced, because people were just ignoring. But because we had a committed and a leader, Lieutenant General Elias Mawele, who was taking us all the corners of Gauteng, making sure those hotspots where we get the problems, we go in immediately. And, it was very interesting, whereas it was dangerous. Because when you go home, they don't know whether you came back with COVID. You must now start sanitizing yourself before you get into the house, and make sure that you take out of your uniform while you are still at the garage, just to make sure that your family is safe. But I'm also very pleased with my family, because they never complained, they supported me, and they knew that when the PC calls me and I jump out of the bed and run away, they could not say, no, stop, don't go. They were saying, just be safe. And we will pray for you. And indeed, here's the time for me to retire from the SAPS with a sad heart, because really this is my home, and I will always arrest. Now I'm going to do a citizen arrest. I will be no longer a policeman. I will do a citizen arrest when somebody commit crime while I'm next to him.
I think you're still fit enough to be in SAPS, so you should definitely consider it. Mr. Minnaar, maybe speak to us just finally about your plans going forward. I know you've been in service for 41 years. I'm sure your family is so happy to also have you back home. What's the plan? Are you just planning to rest for now? Is there anything exciting that you've always wanted to do and wear sandals? The AP in my ear saying wear sandals maybe, because you've always had to wear your uniform with your hat. What's the plan?
Yes, I will rest for a while, and then I would like to get involved in information and education of communities, informing their communities and about the do's and the don'ts. Some people don't know that it's wrong to urinate in public. Some people don't know that it is wrong to litter. Some people don't know the bylaws. So I would like to get involved in informing and sharing of information and education and use platforms available for that kind of purpose.
Certainly. And you, Captain, I'm sure you also have many plans. You did say that we might see you again. Are you able to tell us why and where and what your plans are? Are you also planning to wear sandals and just chill for a little bit? What's the plan?
Well, now I will just rest a little bit, but I will tell you, I will be still in the security cluster. I will be around and will be rubbing shoulders around the courts or wherever, but I believe I will be around. And it's just that, you know, to leave the SAPS, is to me, it's very bad. But because of time, I have to. But the fact of saving of the community, I will still serve the community. The community will still have my commitment in terms of making sure that they are safe out there. Yeah.
Great. Thank you both so much. I'm glad I didn't cry or get a bit emotional, but you have both been very, very important to many media houses, and your dedicated service, 41 years and 37 years. It's amazing. People don't normally last that long. So we thank you very much for your service, and rest, and you don't have to worry about who's going to phone you at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I know that couldn't be easy. But thank you both so much for coming through, and we wish you all the best. That was Captain Kay Makhubele as well as Wayne Minnaar. Thank you so much for joining us here on All Angles.